Good evening and welcome to Three Beards and a Boss.
Hello?
Bobby, Becky, and oh my God, it's Brian.
It's
What's up,
Brian.
buddy?
You made it.
So we all know Brian's a busy man, and before the show we were talking, and he's running around with his head cut off, and it's stressful for the man, but we are so happy to have him. And you might see him eat a little bit of food,
It's a nice
that's
stressful
okay because I have my alcohol.
I got my water.
Your water. So Brian lives in California, and I know there's fancy food everywhere. I mean, I got some spots. I know you guys have some spots, but there's nothing like California with their shops, their coffee shops, their food shops. It's crazy. I mean, the first time I ever had a cappuccino was in California. So I just thought that was interesting. He's like, yeah, we just, a little place down the road. So tonight,
Nice.
I was going to say Irish coffee, too.
Irish
Oh, yeah.
coffee.
Bobby found out about that. The hard
Oh,
way.
God. I was drunk at like 9:30.
Nice.
Didn't even know it. Didn't know it till I stood up.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the same place. We took you there, Becky, didn't we, for Irish coffees?
no,
Buena Vista in San Francisco? Oh.
I'm pissed. I didn't get no Irish coffee.
Irish coffee is
Really
great.
good.
Good stuff. Yeah.
So two topics we're going to talk about tonight. We'll start out with TikTok. Everyone knows I love TikTok. I won't say I'm popular. I have a very good following, but there is some senators in the White House and everyone else that's on the train of trying to ban it due to national security.
Oh, please.
Yeah, a senator from my state of Virginia, Senator Warner, is pushing this with another Republican person, which is shocking because, when Donald Trump was in office, he just tried to broker a deal that would take it out of China's hands. And I thought that's what we did. Apparently, there's still this data collecting from China, or the possibility of China getting data. What I really think it is that the government's not being able to capitalize on this product, and that's why they want it banned. But that's just my personal opinion. What do y'all think?
China has all the information they already need. If China has all the intel, TikTok's been going on for years.
Right.
I mean, they can have my information. I go to home and work. Follow me. I don't care. You're not going to learn anything.
I mean, to me, I
You
feel
want
like
to learn how to apply foundation and put some mascara on? What the best technique? And okay, whatever. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bo. Sorry.
I just feel like, that we have freedom of speech. And I mean, doesn't that stifle that freedom of speech here? I mean, it would be unprecedented if they were able to do that. I get it, taking it away from like, they've already banned it from phones used for like government employees.
Right.
And if it's a government phone or whatever, that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, we're all, I can't on a work phone go to certain sites and things like that either.
Right.
Because it's a work phone. Why would I do that? Makes sense not to do it for government phones, but to stop it from you or anybody just on your phone, that's unprecedented. I mean, that's kind of what's more scary to me is TikTok. Okay, it starts at TikTok. Where does it end?
So is somebody in America trying to develop a tuk or some shit, like a little,
yeah,
I mean,
like the same thing, but like an American version of it or something?
Right. Yeah, like Bobby, you're very right, because see, it starts with TikTok, and then what happens? It's going to be Instagram, it's going to be Facebook, it's going to be
Well, no, because those are American owned.
Right. But
well, I mean, let's be honest. What's really American owned?
right.
I mean,
they're probably
like
Instagram's probably owned by Canada, but no, actually, Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same.
It's Zuckerberg, but I mean,
Snapchat
what owns
is
Zuckerberg
Canada.
is.
I think Snapchat's Canada.
But isn't that
We
like,
have to subpoena records from all these places all the time. And I feel like Snapchat's Canada, Facebook is the US, and
yeah,
Instagram is Meta. It's all Meta.
Right. Yeah, but you're
but
right.
it
Where
is,
does it stop?
yeah,
Where does it
end?
stop? And I really think it's a way of censoring Americans and try to take away our ability to say what we feel. And
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
if they looked at my For You page, you're not going to find any sensitive government
no,
knowledge. You're going to find the stupidest shit. You're going to watch mukbangs and puppy videos.
Are they more afraid of it? Are they more afraid of it maybe being like a Trojan horse of some kind?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
they don't
think
really care
that's
about
their
what that
issue.
is, what you're putting on there.
How
their
long
mind
are they
is
going to
just
let it
other-
be a Trojan horse? Like, we've had TikTok for 5 years at least.
oh, it's been longer than that. I think it's been about 6-7 years.
I mean, most of us joined during the pandemic,
Right.
Yeah.
really, especially. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess the other question is, why does it matter if China has my personal information?
Right.
You know,
What are they
I
gonna do
mean,
with
what are they going to do with it? I guess, I don't know. What are they going to do with it? I mean, does it matter? I don't
well,
know.
if they took it off government phones and government computers,
Yep. Which
them
is
gaining
perfectly
information
legit.
on what my bank does. I mean, they're a big government. They don't need my banking information. Where they're going to take $5? I mean, what?
I was going to say my
Right.
62 cents ain't going to get their government very far. So
It's,
fuck
Yeah.
off.
it's
Take
like the
it.
joke from Eddie Murphy that he told about when his wife, here's my $5.25.
Yeah,
And like, he's talking about how she contributes to the.
yeah,
Right.
It's like the same thing. It's like, dude, that's irrelevant. That's not.
Right.
That's nothing. They don't care about that.
That's
Yeah.
a drop in the bucket. Yeah. I mean, I guess I would have to understand more of the fear of
Right.
TikTok, and why is that fear not the same for an entity like, Zuckerberg's Facebook? I mean,
Right.
how do we know that he doesn't have ties? And Facebook is ad based. That's where the money comes from.
Right.
Do we know where the ads are? Are they all American companies?
Right.
Are there are there Chinese companies?
Well, I think
And what the
that's-
hell does it matter?
Yeah, I think. Well, it depends. I think because before when they were talking about Facebook, I think the reason they were so worried about Facebook and other countries, putting false information on there was around election times. People, that's what
Right.
they
Yeah.
use as their information. So they're like, oh, these guys are like putting all this false information out, and this is where Americans are getting their news sources from.
Right.
And so that's why
right.
I think that became a little worrisome around election times and how they're tampering with things. But you're very much right, Bobby. Like, we don't know like where these ads are coming from, where this information is coming from. It could be coming from anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you hear
You only have,
stuff.
like one ad when you first start, and you can
Right.
skip it. You don't even need to watch an ad on TikTok.
No, but
Well,
the thing
that's
is
not
like,
true either.
no,
Not that you have to watch an ad, but the times I've been on, when you're like flipping through the page, there's ads.
Sponsors.
Well, but is that not the same thing?
It is, but you flip right through it. You don't watch it. You don't have to watch it.
You don't have to.
You just scroll
Yeah.
right up. You don't have to click on it. You don't have to watch it. Just keep scrolling. It's a sponsored. Yeah, it's a sponsored ad, but you don't have to watch it.
You know what I think the coolest thing that could lead to is, like, imagine watching television and let's just say that the TV is made in China and they have all your information and they know, like, hey, like at 4:00, this dude lights up a joint and smokes it. At 4:15, let's put on Dorito ads. Like, let's put ads for like Munchie food or I think that would be cool. I could see where that would be interesting. But
how many
no,
of our products are made in other countries and in China? And
yeah,
we're still
I don't
using
get it.
them, and we're still allowing them in our homes, and because nobody.
Well, right now, yeah, a lot of things are. But if Trump gets his way after that CPAC speech, we're gonna have another baby boom and get some manufacturing back in this country.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
You men are so lucky. You men are so lucky. You guys see that?
I don't know that I like that
Ricky
speech.
quote.
That was a little part there. I don't know about that speech.
Yeah.
well, I also think, I was listening to the senator talk today, talk last week about it. And basically, they would ask him a question. He would skirt around the answer, and he basically was. They have a way of just putting fear in you, but not directly telling you what the fear is.
Right.
So you're just confused. You're like, well, what am I supposed to be scared of?
Fear of the
Right.
unknown. That's a big
Right.
fear. Fear of the
That's
And
unknown.
then they throw out
That's the
some
worst fear in the world, is the fear of the unknown.
right,
Mhm.
and then they throw out names of their colleagues, and that's supposed to mean something to you.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting, and I personally have met this senator, and he's not a bad guy. He's pro-military and all that stuff. And as a Democrat, that's hard for me to say, but or him being a Democrat, but he's trying to put fear in people, and they have their agenda.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people on TikTok are freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people
because
make
they're
a living on
Yeah.
TikTok. That's their sole job, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, another interesting thing, if you think about the privacy, like we, for one, you guys, we haven't forgot Snowden. We didn't care about our privacy then either. I
Right.
mean, some people were like, got up in arms and I can't believe he did this. And I applauded the guy. I'm like, dude, that's great. But no one cared, you know?
Right.
And we found that out again with Facebook and knowing that they sell our information. No one
Right.
gives a shit. Everybody's still on Facebook. Like
Yeah.
Right.
we've given up those privacies
Well, you give them up when
quite
you go on it.
voluntarily.
It's
Right.
a voluntary site. You don't have
Right.
to have an account on any
Right,
of
yeah.
these sites. It's all voluntary. So
But with everyone's addictive personality,
Yeah.
I'm guilty of this big time. I mean, I could be at home and grab my phone and open up TikTok and start looking at videos, and then 5 hours later,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and I haven't gone to the bathroom. Dinner
Yeah.
has already come and passed. Everyone's gone, and I've been
Yeah.
watching TikTok. And what did I learn? Absolutely nothing.
Mhm.
you
But
learned
it's a very
something.
addictive thing.
You learned something.
I learned a
Yeah.
little something. I
Yeah.
learned a dance
You
that I
learned
can't
something
do.
after 5 hours on TikTok. You
Yeah.
learned
I
something.
mean, I learned a
Well-
couple dances that I can't do. I learned the trends that I can't do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those addictive things, and it gives people, like you said earlier, Becky, a lot of us joined because of COVID,
Mhm.
because we were stuck at home and we needed something to do. So everyone started doing goofy dances and trends, and it's been a kind of a friend to us since the old Rona came out, and
Your
now
woman.
they're trying to
I
shift
just
it.
realized something. COVID came from China, and so did TikTok.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to be that guy. Thank you, Becky, because I didn't want to be that guy.
Oh my God, we just
We
figured it out. We figured it out.
Wait, wasn't there a balloon that passed over? Wasn't that from China?
Oh
It's all
my
coming
God.
together.
Yeah.
It's all come
I
together.
don't know, man.
Oh my
I
God,
don't-
we are.
Maybe they're going off of the wavelengths or wave whatever from our TikToks, and that's how they float the balloon around.
The weather balloon?
The
Yeah.
weather balloon.
We just figured
Yeah.
it all out.
So
The government will be calling. Oh my God, let me turn my phone on.
yeah, they're like, Becky, you figured it out.
You know, though, I do value my privacy, though. So I'm not on Facebook, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out how to delete my account.
I can't either.
So-
It's still there, I know.
It's still there. But,
Yeah.
and then, I always tell people, people are like, oh, you don't have like zero, footprint on social media.
Right.
But I use Alexa to control my entire home.
Yeah,
So
you do.
it's like
Yeah.
I'm guilty. I know, but
Can
But I
you
don't
turn
know.
your water on with your Alexa? Because I know you
No,
turn your
can't
lights
do that.
on. Can't
You
do
know
that,
what
but you
pisses
lock
me
your
off?
doors, right?
I could lock doors. I could the one thing that I'm pissed off of myself that I wish I would have done is had smart oven, because when you're at the grocery store and you're like, damn man, it'd be nice if I could turn on the oven
Right.
and preheat it before I get home. I'm kicking myself in the ass. And honestly, when I did it, we kind of did the smart home, what I really just wanted was it was more novelty,
Right.
and then I
Yeah.
realized that I love that shit because I don't have
Oh,
to
yeah.
get off the couch I could sit on the couch and control the lights that, whatever I want, or, in the house. I could page Brody and Cohen in their bedrooms, I don't even have to talk to my kids in real life, So,
So are you guilty? Hey, Bobby, are you guilty of texting your kids with your phone and you're in the house?
oh yeah. Well,
Yes, he did.
Cohen
Yes, he does that.
especially. Yeah, Cohen especially, because he's I don't know, 300 or 400 steps away, so
Right.
that takes
Well,
too
you
long to
also
get there.
have the basement. They're down in the basement.
Yeah,
And
Right.
you can't yell.
yeah, that's yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I do that. But
So
they're
let's
always
shift
on
gears.
my phone.
Let's talk about this murder trial down there in old South Carolina.
Yeah.
This is all up your alley, Becky.
Well, the trial's over,
I
guys.
have a lot of information because I've been busy and I haven't been able to watch it.
I saw a little bit. I saw the last day of the trial before the jury went back, and I think they were only back for like 3 hours, something like that.
Good.
I saw that he testified, which I just my mind was blown that he would even speak.
I saw the snot coming out of his nose when he testified. That's about the only clip I saw. That was gross. You didn't see it? Bobby, pull that up.
I think what I watched I think it was last week about that. He was still, I think that was still up in the air where he was going to testify. The trial was still going on.
He testified.
And he mentioned, he's like, well, I did things wrong. I stole money from people. I did terrible things, but I didn't murder anybody. And I'm just like, his defense attorney, I'm wondering what he was thinking. Him being a lawyer, did he think that was going to be the best thing? In a murder trial, you normally do not testify,
Right.
Because it opens doors. It gives the jury the opportunity to see your expressions on your face and your body movement and all this stuff. The prosecutor can just straight out say, "Did you kill somebody?" And he can say no, but what if he shifts in his seat? What if he looks down? Whatever the case is, the jury can see all of that. That's why they tell you, do not ever testify when it comes to a big trial like this.
But that's also why they do it, is because they know that if I'm guilty, nobody expects me to testify.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So
you're
I'm
looking.
going to do it even if
Right.
I'm guilty, because that's going to cause them to think, oh, why would a guilty man testify on his own behalf? Why?
Real quick, Becky. Quick question, since you're in the courtroom a lot.
Yeah.
I always find this very funny whenever I'm like watching TV.
Yeah.
Like, the lawyer will say something that he knows he shouldn't say, and the judge will be like, "Strike that from your memory." What the fuck is that?
They
kind
do
of
that on
shit? I mean, come on,
purpose.
how can you
You
strike
can't
something from
do
your
that
memory?
on your head.
You
No,
can't.
they do
Like,
that
that was
on
the funniest
purpose.
tactic for me, man.
No,
I've
it
never
is.
seen you do
Yeah.
that kind of shit.
Yeah, they'll say, stricken that from the record. Jury, you will
Yeah,
forget
but
what they said.
But that can also
Yeah.
cause a mistrial. So you have to
Yes.
be very careful.
Oh, you do?
about
Okay.
what you say.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I mean, if the judge knows that you're doing it in a calculated manner, they could certainly claim a mistrial because you did something that was unethical, unlawful.
And
But,
they'll bring you up to the bench and they'll slap your pee-pee for
yeah.
it too. They'll
Well,
call the jury, put
Yeah.
them back in the back in the jury room, and they'll yell at you for, an hour. While
Yeah,
the jury's back there going, what's going on?
I think I've got jury duty next week, man. I got to look for my form.
go to it. So I'm in trial right now, actually, and so the defense attorney today, she asked somebody a question, a witness for her, and he started to say something that the defendant said to him, and the prosecutor objected for hearsay or just not wanting her statements to be brought into the case without her testifying. And so objected, they went to the bench, they had their little sidebar, came back, and she's like, I'm gonna, say it a different way, whatever. And then the defense attorney was like, well, did she tell you blah blah blah? And there was like, objection. She tried really hard to get this statement in. But I mean, there's certain things that you can get in, but when the court knows or the prosecutor knows you're trying to get something in that you shouldn't, I mean, they're not going to let it happen. But yeah, once you say something and put that in the juror's mind, you can't take it back out, regardless of, oh, strike that from the record. Jurors, you're going to disregard all the. No, you can't. You just can't.
Because you think about it, in these really big cases, Brian, before the case even goes to a jury or do anything, there are hearings on evidence and suppressing evidence. And okay, Your Honor, we don't want this put into the record because it's not efficient. So there's a lot of these things that go on before the case actually hits. There's a lot of times where someone will say, man, this guy didn't get convicted and he should have. It's because the lawyers were really good at getting evidence not put into the record.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of work that goes into what jurors see is nothing compared to what we do. I mean, it's insane. All the hearings and motions and back chambers conversation. I mean, there's so much behind the scenes that nobody sees, and it looks flawless on the day of. And that's not because it's flawless. It's because we made it that way.
Last week I was, on the couch a lot because I wasn't feeling well, so I missed a little bit of work. But one of the things I watched was The Time to Kill, Becky. So I know the time they put in the back in that trial.
Thank you, Brian. That movie's the best. That movie was
so damn good. I was like, damn, I can't believe that I freaking have not watched this movie in this long.
You've never watched it before last week?
No. I'd seen it, but it's like I don't usually rewatch movies. It just happened to be on HBO, and I was like, I'm just gonna watch it. That and Garden State. I was watching so many like crazy ass old movies.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that movie is phenomenal.
I never get to see, but yeah, I was like, it was a lot of preparation.
It's so much. I call myself a wedding planner because I'm there to coordinate everybody to where they need to be at the right exact amount of time, and like so it just goes off without a hitch. Like you just don't understand all the time and prep and like meetings and all the things we do prior to the day or two of your trial, because it looks like it was just, hey, everybody's doing what they need to do.
Everyone's good.
It just made sense. No, there's a lot of time and effort into that.
Do you find yourself ever getting really invested in your cases?
100%.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And if something doesn't go your way, you just have to like walk away and Musa and
I cry.
Yeah.
I definitely go through a debriefing process, like because of the months, sometimes years you spend with witnesses, victims, court of hearings that don't happen when they should have happened. I mean, I have a hearing tomorrow that is from 2017, and then we're finally disposing it tomorrow.
Damn.
And so that's 6 years.
Were they in? I was like half listening to this. Desi loves to fall asleep to like these murder things, and there was this murder where they had the people in freaking jail waiting trial for 3 years. Is that shit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. What if you're not guilty at the end of all that? It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, so I actually had a murder where we had the defendants there were four defendants, and we had them in jail for 3 years because 3 of them eventually pled, but part of their plea deal was that they had to testify against the main person who committed the murder. And until his hearing and his trial actually came, they had to sit in our jail for 3 years. So, I mean, it could be, but we've also had, where defendants just sit but a lot of times they sign time waivers, which means you don't have to try them in 90 days because everybody has the right to a jury trial within 90 days, speedy trial.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a Sixth Amendment right that you have.
So you have to sign that right away. So there can be 100 different.
Wait, you have to sign the right?
You don't have to.
No. For a 6-year trial or a 3-year trial, you do.
So what if you say no? I don't want to sign my right.
You go to trial, like by trial right now, she did not sign a time waiver, so we tried it before the 90 days.
Okay. So why wouldn't everybody want to do that?
Because they need time for their defense team to get evidence to try to. I mean, You cannot.
Well, I could see where the prosecutor would want that
But a
signed.
defense also wants that because they
Okay.
need time to create a defense for their client. They
Yeah.
need time to work these hundreds of pages of discovery, which is the evidence in the case,
Right.
to work that and to have a plausible defense for their client. So they need time as well. I mean, they're not just sitting on their asses. You know, it could
Right.
be they're a public defender and they have 100 other cases and they want to give their client a fair trial. So we have to sign a time waiver, but for 100 other reasons, it could get continued because they're not ready. Witnesses aren't available. The judge is out. They're not available because they have other trials. There's a litany of things where like it just keeps being continued, but they have to sit because they're not going to make bond. Their bond's
So is
$100,000.
So is the trade-off? They're like, I'll do this 90 days so I don't have to do 9 years or whatever, 20 years.
Well, that's just it. Like every day you're in jail counts for you.
Where's your sentence?
So say you are in jail for 3 years, but you get found guilty or plead and get a 5-year sentence. You only get 2 years. You only have to serve 2 more years because all of those 3 years count for you. So it's kind of like the people that sit for that long are typically not going to come out good in the end, is what I'm trying to say.
There's also, when you set a trial, you go to, let's say you set a trial 90 days out, this is go time. You get there and there maybe the prosecutor doesn't have a witness. So they ask for a continuance.
Yeah.
And then you get back and the defense attorney is like, well, I just got this new information. I need a continuance. So they can continue it out like another month or 2 months. And before you know it, you've been in jail for 9 months.
Well, and also the thing is there's things that toll time, which means stop your 90 days. So say you're a defendant that has competency issues. You have to go you have to go to a psychologist and get an evaluation. That whole amount of time, if that thing takes 3 months to happen, that tolls your time. So say you've been in 30 days and you haven't signed a time waiver, you get this evaluation that takes 60. Well, now we're at your 90 days, but we just got your evaluation that says you're even competent to stand trial. So now we have another 60 days to do it. So there's things that toll time legally, and competency is probably one of the biggest ones that does that.
Yeah.
So if you waive your right to the, if you don't
Speedy
waive
trial.
your right to a speedy trial,
Mm-hmm.
is that used against you?
Yeah.
I mean, is that no? I mean,
But
I know they don't, but are they like, bro, really?
No.
Like,
No.
But at the same time, that's how
I
that
don't believe
whole
that,
continuance stuff comes in.
Well, so Bubble, I see what you're asking, but what I can say mostly about what I think you're asking, they call it a trial tax. And they say, if you go to trial, you're going to be taxed on that and you're going to get more time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you put everybody through this, right? So in our court, we don't have a trial tax. However, if we have to go through trial, the judge now hears everything you did. Because typically a judge knows nothing about the case until you go to trial. Typically they hear a snippet of the facts and the defense, and that's it. If we go through a whole trial and a judge hears exactly what you did, it's going to make them possibly want to punish you harsher than they would have if you would have accepted a plea deal.
Right. So like sorry, Becky.
No, go ahead.
So like I know that judges, the only time they really get like information a lot of times is like civil cases.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you have to put in discovery for those type of like a traffic accident or a lawsuit of some kind of monies, they get to look at it. They get to brief it before they go in front of the people that are, you know, trying to get whatever, the money or the countersuit or whatever the case is. They get to look at it a little bit, and then they can go in court and say, well, I've looked at discoveries and I've done all this, but now tell me what you want me to know or reiterate. and then they get to argue the case.
Mhm.
So but a criminal case, you're right, Becky. They don't know a lot of information. They
Mhm.
get the complaint in front of them. They only get to see the evidence when the attorney says, "I'd like to present this to evidence."
You have witnesses.
They don't give the judge a file and say, "Hey, judge, read it over, see what you think." It's everything has to be introduced into.
Dude, that's awesome. That's I never knew that. That's like watching a fucking movie unfold in front of you. Like, oh shit. You ever
like, damn, you did that? Damn.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
I didn't know that twist was about to happen.
You were doing 150 on a motorcycle?
And that's just it. You're bringing a victim in who's telling you what somebody did to them. I mean,
that could be lying.
Huh?
You know, that's what makes it all interesting. These people that could be lying, you know what I mean? And it's like a drama unfolding.
I will say that,
Time to Kill.
So when a judge or two attorneys in a criminal case, they say, "All right, Your Honor, we've made an agreement. This is what we're asking." And then so when the judge hears that, he says to the officer or the detective, he says, "Okay, that's great. I want to hear a summary." And then the judge can hear that summary and go, "Damn, you did that. I'm going to give you the opportunity to maybe take this in front of another judge. I'm not going to see it this way. I'm not going to agree to this plea agreement. What do you want to do?" And I've seen that a couple times working court, where the judge is like, "Okay, so you want me to give this guy 6 months when he assaulted a police officer, stabbed a homeless man, and stole his dog. You want me to give him 6 months? I can't do that."
Mhm.
So there's the judges usually hear a lot of the cases, even when there's a plea agreement, because they don't have to agree to the plea agreement.
Yeah, they tell the defendant when they make the plea, they can say, "You can, this is an agreement between your attorney and the prosecuting. I don't have to accept any agreement that I don't think is reasonable or fair." And they can go against the plea agreement at any time. That's what they say in the plea colloquy. They say, I don't have to do what these people are telling. I'm the judge, and ultimately it's up to me what I give you.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact,
go ahead.
There's a judge can also dismiss a case. I'll give you an example. There was a police officer in another jurisdiction from ours. There was a gentleman that got in a car accident on the highway. He got out of the car, started charging towards the officer. I'm not sure if the suspect had a weapon or not, but the police officer shot this guy. So his department said it was a clean shoot, justified. But the prosecutor went after him. So they set up this trial. The officer asked for a jury trial. And as soon as the case was about to be heard, the judge said, "This case has no valid. I'm dismissing it."
Well,
and just dismissed the entire case. Of
so
course, the prosecutor can appeal that decision. But yeah, he said, "We're not having a jury trial. I'm dismissing it. We're done."
Well, so like in our court, you have a jury trial, and the state. So in a jury trial, the state presents their case first.
Right.
They rest, and then the defense presents their case. At the end of the state's case, the defense attorney can ask for what's called a Rule 29 in our state, and that means that the state has not shown enough evidence to go forward or to convict this person of a crime by reasonable doubt.
Right.
So the judge can look at that and say, "I agree. I'm in a Rule 29," which dismisses the entire case, even though the state has presented their entire case to a jury. If they haven't proven the elements of their case, then a judge is going to do that.
Right.
And that's what in Ohio, that's what we do.
How many times have you seen that happen in your career, Becky?
Once. It was a sexual assault case, and the judge was, and here's the thing, the judge told the prosecutor that he was about to Rule 29 it, and twice, I lied. The first time he did Rule 29 it and said that we didn't show enough evidence, and that case was gone. The second case, the judge said he was going to probably Rule 29 it, and it ended up in a plea. They pled to something lesser. So
Now, do you guys call it non-pros in your state? So basically, it's so basically you can basically say, all right, I'm going to drop this charge, but I have up to 12 months to bring it back.
Oh wait, yeah, we do that.
Okay.
We've done that where you like they're on the indictment, it's not good enough, so we just drop it and dismiss it. But the state does it.
Right.
In our state, the state does it, and then they
the state does it here.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Or the Commonwealth, because we're a Commonwealth.
Yeah, you're in Virginia. Yeah.
So
Bobby, did you find the snot video?
It's very long, and I couldn't find where he was like snotty.
Oh.
So hopefully, did you guys learn some stuff?
Yeah.
I just I don't think this is the murder trial of the century. I think this was a very bad dude.
Oh,
that's sorry. Dude. What's up?
I wanted to say something before we started talking about all of that. So I did hear a juror, and they said that the thing that convicted this man was the kennel video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kennel video is what solidified the conviction.
And it was his son's camera.
The son's camera. Pawpaw's camera.
Yeah.
The son that he killed?
Pawpaw.
Yeah. Paul.
His name's Paul, but he called him Pawpaw.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah. That family was not an innocent family. No. I mean, I've seen the Netflix show.
Yeah.
These guys were so corrupt.
It was a history of corruption.
Oh my gosh. It's like how, and it amazes me that they can get away with this. They're in bed with money. Right. But they're in bed, but it didn't seem like they were giving people money. It seemed like it wasn't about money, it was power. It was like, hey, you say something, you're
anonymous.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so, but like they were in bed with all the cops, I mean, the cops were allowing Alec to, like the boat accident with his son. Mm-hmm. They ran the show, I just couldn't believe it. And those poor families that had to deal with the loss of their daughter, the loss of the son, the loss of
the
housekeeper. It's like, and he probably will have nothing left in his estate for these families, so it's just a shame.
And his own son, his surviving son.
Yeah. Who's probably guilty of some shit too.
I was about to say, I'm not sure
he looks shady at the sentencing.
Well, there's some accusations that he was part of the original murder in 2015.
Right.
Of the 15-year-old boy or whatever. Was it 2015? Maybe 2014, whatever. But that 15-year-old boy that came missing because they had some sort of sexual relationship, And
do you guys think that he'll be investigated and indicted on something?
I've been hearing in the press that they want him to be.
Yeah.
Who names your kid Buster? I'm gonna punch you in the face for that alone. I'm sorry.
Becky, wasn't the joke back at Green Memorial Hospital with Dr. Hyman?
Because we literally still talk about this to this day. It's real.
No, he named this guy was named Dr. Hyman, and he named his kids Tara and Buster.
Wow.
Bro,
that ain't right.
Real. That's not. That ain't right, man. Prosecutors I work with grew up with them kids. It's real.
Buster Hyman and Terror Hyman. Wow, that's terrible. We'll go back. Another thing too is I saw where the state is now reopening the case on the housekeeper.
Good.
So that'll be interesting, and it'll probably reopen the case on the boy who was murdered too. Which, I think this guy, if nothing else, the boy Buster, will be at least an accomplice to something, because
how old was he in 2015 or 14? He was.
I think they were young. Yeah.
So they have to try him
as a juvenile. Yeah.
Because it
I don't know.
happened when he was a juvenile. So what's really going to happen to him?
Right.
Because he's
Yeah.
over the age of 21. So a lot of juvenile systems, they can only hold you until you're 21.
Right.
So he's now probably over.
So in other words, what you're saying is if you're going to murder somebody, do it as a child.
Yes.
And you know, I'm not
I
even
hate to say it, but yes.
I'm not even an attorney or have an attorney mind, but like the first thing I think about is if I was that defense attorney for that guy, I'd be like, hey man, look at his dad. This kid was a kid. He was fucking being manipulated by this monster.
Oh yeah, play it
He
up.
was raised by a
Hell yeah.
monster who's now a convicted murderer of his own child and wife. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna all be he was just a pawn and he did what his dad told him to do. I mean,
regardless if he had any free will to do so or not. I mean, if you're 15, 16 years old, you know what the fuck you're doing. You know what you're doing.
Of course you do. And that's why you can be bound over as an adult at that age. Because you know right from wrong at that point. You're not stupid. And when he grew up in, he knew what he was doing.
Right. He knew it. Yeah. I mean, he knew murder was a crime. Come on.
Yeah.
But that reminds me, Brian, what you said you watched Time to Kill. My favorite part is when at the end where he's telling that story, man.
Oh, and he's like,
do you see her? Do you see her?
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine the girl's white. And then everybody's like,
so powerful.
But what a cool show, man. I need to watch that again.
Oh,
great show. And who thought you would get a performance like that out of what's his name?
McConaughey?
No. McConaughey.
Yeah.
Well, Jackson, I could see it. But McConaughey actually did really well in that. I've never really cared for his movies.
He had star roles. Did you not see Texas Buyers Club?
That was a great fucking movie, man. He did a great job.
He did great. He had some really great roles. I mean,
the dude's just typecasted. He's kind of like shit. There's an actor that I'm always like, that dude's not a bad actor. I can't remember who the hell it is now, but he just gets typecast. People are like, oh, he's good. No, it's probably, I don't know, but somebody's like, oh, that guy is attractive, so he's not a good actor. Well, that's not always. Robert Pattinson is a good example.
Oh yeah,
Robert Pattinson has some freaking great movies nowadays. The Batman, he did the island where they were on that lighthouse island and shit, or it might have been called the Lighthouse. Man, he's a great actor, but he was typecast as the
Twilight series. Typecast.
Yeah, I wasn't saying McConaughey's not a good actor, but I guess that was the point I was trying to make, was he was so typecast. He was always like the shirtless dude with, that says funny shit and gets high from time to time. And then he pulls out that role.
Full of great movies. He had Frailty, The Lincoln Lawyer, Time to Kill. Like, all those are excellent movies, but they
were True Detective. The first season of True Detective was fucking great.
Was amazing.
I'll give you that.
Him and Woody Harrelson together, that was a great fucking.
Yeah, that was great.
That was my favorite. I didn't like many after that.
No, it was like, it was totally different. But that first one was really
but that first season was so good.
Agreed.
Good.
Well, hey, look, we're gonna wrap this up, but just to preview. Next week we have my Kimmy. She's going to be on, and she's going to be talking about colon awareness, Rooter and the Tutor. I was supposed to get my Rooter and the Tutor exam this month, but let me tell y'all, if you want this done, I don't know how it is in your state or where you live. I'm doing mine in July. It's a 6-month wait.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking to her about all of that. She's going to give us some really good facts and some good numbers.
Good.
And I'm going to do it live on air. So stay tuned.
With or without sedatives, Bobby, because Destiny.
No sedatives.
Well, it's funny.
Have you had one?
No.
I have. Nobody's had one.
She's the only one of those. I'm getting mine in July.
I'm going to definitely. Trust me, I'm going to definitely check myself because it's on the rise and it's a very simple cancer to detect.
Well, not only that, but we have a family. Mark had it when he was in his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a father who had every cancer. We have
Don't remind me of that, Becky. I'm starting to creep up to the age. And TJ, especially, when you're getting it to the age where he started getting the cancer. So, like.
Yeah.
No. He was in the 60s.
He was in the 60s
50,
when he started getting the cancers, though?
Yeah. He was in the 60s.
Okay.
He was 62.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
what I'm
No, I'm still
telling
good.
you is you
I
guys
got a little bit.
should have
You got
been
10 years to live, bud.
I got a little bit more than that now.
All right. All right.
So
All
Destiny
right, guys,
does,
look.
It's not that bad. It's
you know,
not that
real quick. Destiny does
I'm
colonoscopies
here.
now. Not she assists
I
with
did
them.
it.
And she
She
told me
does.
about this lady who did not want sedatives. She wanted to know exactly what was going on
Yeah.
while
Yeah.
she was doing the
Oh,
colonoscopy.
no.
I'm like, that sounds fucking brutal.
No,
Okay.
I'll tell you
Did this
what.
woman slip her a tenner too?
Yeah. She slipped her a
No,
number.
I'll
Like, I like how
tell
you did
what,
that.
I was on fucking
That was
sedatives.
nice.
And they're talking to me, and I'm like, I don't really want to do this, and I'm embarrassed, and my butthole's raw because you have to poop all day.
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
I was in pain.
Well, we're
They're
going to talk
talking
all
to me.
about that next week.
We'll have a lot
Yeah.
to say about that too.
Okay, we'll talk
with
about it
him
next week.
because
I got
All right,
stories.
guys. Y'all have a
All
great
right.
night.
All
You
right,
too.
have a good night. Love you guys.
love you guys.
Love you.
See you guys.